Good morning. The countdown is on for our Cognia accreditation visit. It's hard to believe that it's only 1 week away. I hope that this morning you will have the opportunity to learn more about the process and the schedule of the visit. Let's take a minute to reflect on our past accreditation visits and how they evolved as an organization. In 2007 was the first review as a district. It was known as SACS then and had in prior years focused on accrediting individual schools. In 2012, it was redesigned to be called Advanced Ed. Our last review visit in 2017 led us to improving our response to intervention processes and procedures, and now we're preparing for our 2022 visit. Our accreditation visit is March 21st through 23rd. It is a virtual visit. Information will be uploaded into the District Cognia Workspace platform, and the accreditation team will engage in Zoom meetings to interview and examine our district. The team consists of 6 members. All members are volunteers and are trained educational professionals. The team participates in the training of the engagement review process. I've had the opportunity of serving on 5 face-to-face district engagement reviews and 1 virtual engagement review. It is an enriching experience to assess the efficacy and impact of a district's continuous improvement. The purpose of the Cognia Engagement Review is to give our district input on the next stages in the improvement process. It encourages our district to reflect on our practices, to identify strengths and weaknesses in our system. It determines if our district satisfies the Cognia performance standards to the extent that it should. The accreditation process is beneficial to us as a school system because it's an outside look by qualified educators to help us improve all aspects of how we serve our children. The accreditation provides us with the tools, resources, and direction we need to support our schools in continuing to develop by assisting our students in achieving their goals. We have built a culture of continuous improvement. Success of all learners is the goal of our district. The engagement review is part of our continuous improvement journey. We use the continuous improvement cycle to determine the effectiveness of our strategic plan and our school improvement plans, which are all aligned to our strategic plan. The review, charter system application, our strategic plan, and our improvement plans allow us to strive for a systematic, long-term gains in student achievement and in meeting the needs of our students. The engagement review is designed as a performance-based model where we as a district examine our practices through research-based standards, examination of our data, as well as review of stakeholder feedback. There are 3 domains of standards: leadership capacity domain, learning capacity domain, and resource capacity domain. The Cognia performance standards serve this purpose by providing a set of evaluative criteria that lays the foundation for improvement planning and implementation. Based on rigorous research and best practices, the standards are a powerful tool for driving institutional change. The engagement review involves specific expectations for our district. We must meet the accreditation standards for the leadership, learning, and resource capacity domain. We must implement a continuous improvement process. We must conduct an internal review, host a virtual review, and respond to any required actions found in the visit. System accreditation has 3 major steps: the internal review, the external review, which both lead to an accredited district. The internal review consists of the following: the executive summary, which is written by Mrs. Reese, telling about our strengths and weaknesses of our district. A standard self-assessment worksheet is completed for each standard. Teacher and student surveys are completed throughout the district. Uploaded evidence based off of each standard is uploaded into the platform. It also reviews the improvement plan, and then we're required to be assurances that we have all have to be completed. The assurances consist of the following: that we comply with the Cognia policies and procedures, that we report any changes to our school district or any specific school, that we justify that we have security and crisis management plans for each school, that we monitor all of our financial transactions, that we have improvement plans for each school as well as a strategic plan, and that the Cognia performance standards for each school are met. The second step in the engagement review process is the external review process, which is conducted by a team of professionals led by a Cognia lead evaluator. It serves as an opportunity to showcase our strengths. It provides objective, meaningful, evidence-based feedback for improvement and verifies the institution has met the requirements of accreditation. Due to the engagement review being a virtual visit, there are some things to consider with the team. Because the team is not physically present, they will take a deep dive into the school, district, and school websites. They'll also review district evidence folders for each standard. They will review school evidence folders for each standard. They will review all of the district and individual school data. They will review our survey results. They will participate in numerous interviews, and they will examine all of our system assurances. The interviews play a key role in the engagement review process. Time spent with the various stakeholders allow the team to create a full understanding of the district and the various ways that we are meeting the needs of the whole child, both academically, social, and emotionally. The following people will be interviewed: the superintendent, the governing board, the district leadership team, school administrators, school leadership team, teachers, students, and parents and stakeholders. This feeder pattern or cluster was chosen to participate in the interviews for students, administrators, leadership team, parents, and staff. At this time, the team will learn about instruction, how we support students that are struggling or meet the needs of students that may need acceleration. They will ask questions seeking information about school culture, the mission and the vision of the school. Questions will guide them in understanding how teachers use data, monitor student progress, and what processes and procedures are in place to promote success for all students, both academically and social and emotionally. This is their time to shine and share what they're doing in their schools. Let's take a few moments to reflect on our journey the last few years as we became a model PLC district. On this journey, we've built collective capacity for continuous improvement and created clarity of purpose, a common vision, collective commitments, and agreed upon goals to ensure high levels of learning for all. We are committed to ensuring high levels of learning and provided opportunities for our teachers and leaders to have a deep understanding of professional learning teams. We have to determine what is the most important standards that our students need to know to be successful. We've learned that working collaboratively is more effective than in isolation. We have strengthened our ability to develop common formative assessments and protocols for teachers to analyze the results in order to provide and ensure that the students have learned the material, leading to a stronger Tier 1 core instruction for all of our students. Students set goals to master grade level standards. We have a scheduled time in our school day to provide intense instruction for students that are significantly behind and to bring them up to working on grade level. We've turned from being focused on teaching to being focused on learning. We have a more laser-like focus on the right work and being results-oriented. We have created time in our schedule so that elementary and middle school teachers can meet weekly. We have early release Wednesdays for our high schools to allow for teachers to meet and collaborate to plan units, common formative assessments, and analyze data. Our district focus is to ensure high levels of learning for all students. This focus of learning translates into 4 critical questions that drive our work of professional learning communities for continuous improvement. The team focus on 4 questions. What do we expect our students to learn? We establish essential standards from our state standards. How will we know if they've learned it? Teacher teams create common formative assessments to determine if students master the material. And the teachers analyze evidence of student learning. How will we respond when they don't learn? In our Tier 2, we reteach the essential standards to students that do not master the standards. Students are 2 or more grade levels behind are placed in Tier 3, where they are provided intense interventions to close the gaps. And how do we respond when they've learned it? During Tier 3 interventions, we also provide acceleration for these students. Based off the data with pre-pandemic, all of our scores, there's some 3 priority areas that we focus on. Elementary reading, grades 1, 2, and 3. In middle school is a focus on math with grades 6 and 7. And in high school, we focus is on math with Algebra 1. To support our areas of priority, our elementary, all teachers grades K through 2 right now are in letters to support the learning of the science of reading. It's a 2-year cycle, and all elementary school teachers within the next 3 years, K through 5, will participate in the training. In middle and high school math, we're participating in a math PLC, which is 6 days of training with Dr. Tim Kanold. As you know, we have many strengths in Catoosa County. Here are just a few. With the exception of 3rd grade, all grades were above the state in ELA on the Georgia milestones in FY21. We also increased the level of 3 and 4s on the Georgia milestones end of course in American Lit and Biology. All 16 schools have a 5-star climate rating. We rebuilt our RTI process to support struggling students. We work collaboratively instead of in isolation, and we increased our graduation rate. Let's take a look at some of the questions that you may be asked during your interview. What are some examples of your involvement in decision making for the district? Describe other ways in which you are involved in the school district. What are some practices this district regularly implements so that you or your organization are informed about events, meetings, opportunities, volunteering, achievements, challenges, etc.? Another question may be, what is the process for you to make suggestions to the leadership about ways to increase its community business partnership outreach? How does the district leadership know if the community members' involvement or business partnership is making a difference? A few more questions. How well do you think the district is performing overall, and what types of data are shared with you about its achievement and challenges? What are examples of programs or activities which you or your organization had a role that have been successful for the last 3 years? And from your perspective, what are some practices or programs that are considered part of the district's culture? The last questions may be, what are some words you would use to describe this district to community members or business partners that are not affiliated with this district? What are the district's greatest strengths? Do you know of any challenges that we may have? What are some ways the district is meeting the needs of students? Once the team has gathered information, they will come together and rate each standard and key concept. Let's take a look at the process. There are 3 levels of evidence that is considered when evaluating our standards. Initiate, which demonstrates engagement. To demonstrate initiate provides evidence of how you're monitoring and adjusting your implementation to ensure quality and fidelity of implementation. The second one is improve. It demonstrates the use of results to support improvement, particularly results over time. To demonstrate practices at the improvement level, you provide evaluations of your professional learning and how you've analyzed and used that data to determine the effectiveness of your professional learning. And the third is impact, demonstrating changes to the professional practices and the organizational culture. This I3 rubric is a tool to assess the Cognia standards. The team will use this rubric in choosing our ratings for each standard. Cognia has established 5 degrees of impact that correspond to the I3 rubric. As part of Cognia's continuous improvement approach, we will look at these levels in this section. The first one is engagement, implementation, results, sustainability, and embeddedness. The team will rate each element of the standard with a score from 1 to 4. Cognia has established 5 degrees of impact that correspond with the I3 rubric. The ratings determined by the team will be calculated in a formula to determine the degrees of impact. They will assess the degree to which the district executes the standard by utilizing the increasing rigor of the key concepts based on their examination of the material we submit and the interviews. The IEQ, or is known as the Index of Educational Quality, the results are reported on a scale from 1 to 400 and provides information about how the institution is performing compared to the expected criteria. The total results from all 3 standard domains are calculated and an IE score is determined. The district will receive a score as well as a range of all systems IEQ score over the last 5 years. This is an example of the standards diagnostic results that we would see based off another district's score. Let's talk about the outcome of our visit. The district will receive a report indicating the results of the rating of standards. The team will identify powerful practices. They will also recommend the next steps in our continuous improvement process, and recommendations for accreditation will begin. Catoosa County School District is a professional learning community. The commitment of learning for all students and adults have become a part of our daily operations. Collaboration has become the way that we operate as professional educators to ensure our students meet learning expectations. We have embraced a belief in continuous improvement. Our commitment to focusing on learning, collaborative culture, collective responsibility, and a results orientation has fostered a culture of continuous improvement, and we have a more laser-like focus approach to meeting the needs of the whole child. This is going to be a great visit, and I'm proud of the work that we've been doing as a school system.